Energy blow!
Buckle up for safety as I give you a day in the life of facilities maintenance. Hi there. If you haven't watched part 1 of this series, you need to stop what you're doing right now. Seriously, stop the video and go back and watch part 1, and then come join us for part 2. Welcome back to part 2. So, you may recall in our last episode that we had a major blowout of a pipe in the wall. It was that horrible CPVC piping. Just gets brittle with age and cracks and bursts, and so I had to pull the toilet and open up the wall itself in order to go in and make the plumbing repair. And once the repair was made, then I needed to work on repairing the wall and putting that back together. So we're going to pick up where we left off in part 2. Well, it's time to start putting some tile back on the wall. And I'm actually not using tile mastic. What I'm using is Gorilla Glue adhesive. It's got a fast grab feature, 30 seconds, and it will stay where I put it. So it's kind of the perfect product for a repair like this, because timing matters. It's of the essence. And so I can start placing tiles, and pretty much as soon as I finish putting the tiles on the wall, I don't have to give it too much time before I then start go along and start grouting. And even for grouting, I'm also going to cheat a little. My grout is also going to come out of a tube, so you have to nip a corner out of this one. Now, I know that nobody's going to see this because it's behind the toilet, but I still want it to be done right. It says 30 seconds to grab, but it's grabbing quicker than that. Mind you, these tiles they're not heavy. If I was using like a 12 by 12 quarter-inch tile, I might have to hold it for a full 30 seconds just to give it a chance, but seem to be doing okay here. I'm pretty impressed with this adhesive. I was gone for about 15 minutes just cutting out these pieces, and I come back and there's been no movement on any of these tiles, which is great, and yet at the same time I'm still able to manipulate them if I need to, which is good, because I may need to. This is the one I was looking for. Here's a closer view. So all the tiles are back in place, and if you look really, really closely, you can possibly tell which ones were replaced. Unfortunately, and while it doesn't happen often, I failed to record the actual grouting process, which was essentially just squeezing caulking between the cracks and pressing it in with my finger, and then giving it a wipe off with the sponge after it had a chance to set up a little bit. And if you're wondering what I've been using for product, it's not actually a tube of silicone. What it is, it's a siliconized, unsanded grout in a caulking tube. It's great for repairs. What I had on hand was white. Over time, maybe this will age itself to a place where they're closer in color. But for this purpose, I didn't feel I needed to go out and buy a whole new tube in a light gray color because it's behind a toilet. So this will work just fine. All right, we're ready to install the new shutoff and then install the toilet. First things first, I need to shut off the water and then relieve some of the pressure from the system itself. Now I can install the new shutoff. It's a PEX fitting. And with that installed, I can go turn the water back on. Hi. How's it going?
Do you work here?
Do I work here? And then check to make sure it's not leaking, of course.
So we're good. If you're wondering why I cut this off, I like doing it this way because it puts zero stress on the piping. I can cut this off and then now I can go remove the fitting to reuse it at a later date.
That fellow who you saw a few seconds ago, his van has broken down and he's stuck in our parking lot waiting on BCAA. Well, we're getting close to the finish line. Just gonna put the toilet back in, but before I do that, I'm going to change the wax gasket.
The thing about wax gaskets is they compress when you put the toilet down on them, and when you remove the toilet, they don't spring back. And so you should never reuse a gasket. You should always replace it. So that's what I'm doing here. Make sure you align the toilet properly when you set it back into position so that you don't mess with the seal. You want to come straight down on it and then compress it like that. Now, in this case, it's actually going to be easy because I've got the old silicone ring to guide me. Tell me exactly where I need to drop the toilet. So aligning it won't be difficult at all. Other times, what I've done is I've taken maybe taken a piece of tape and put it on the floor out here and out here in line with the bolts, and then I can just use that as guidelines to center the toilet, align them with the holes in the base. But in this case, I don't need to do that. All I need to do is this. Okay, so I've flushed it and let it fill half a dozen times. I'm not seeing any water leaking out from the base of the toilet. So, all I have left to do then is put the access cover back in and run a new bead of silicone around the base, and we can call that done.
Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. See ya.